I open the workbook. So here for each and every portlet we have the separate sheet. So biographical information on sheet, personal information on sheet, country specific personal information on sheet. Okay. So all the standard fields it will be already captured. So you need to analyze and you need to have a discussion with the client. Okay, so whether they want to change the label, then you can update the new label in the this column, H column, the custom label. If you want to make it mandatory, you can put it. See, for example, country of the birth here is non-mandatory. Okay, so you need to talk to the client and you need to update. If they want this as a mandatory field, you need to update this one. So accordingly, our configuration should be done in the system. In the success factor, we have something called iterative method, iteration 1 and iteration 2. So what normally we will do in the real time, first we will upload all the standard data model into the system. Then we will have the one demo, or we are calling as a first wave or a first iteration. We will show all the portlets. So this is the look and feel, and these are the fields we have in the respective portlet. These are the mandatory fields, and these are the values which we have in the some of the field which we will be having as a pick list. So the client confirm one by one. So accordingly, so we need to take the requirement for the second iteration. So whichever you done the iteration 1, that is the input for the second iteration configuration, and whatever you had iteration 2 discussion with the client, that is the final for the configuration. But normally till end of the project the keep on changes is going, but however as much as possible you need to freeze the requirement in the second iteration. Third iteration you can keep the like percentage like less than 5% and all, so that we can successfully do the go live. So if you have more than 50% of difference, okay, then we cannot implement the project on time. Okay, so as much as possible you have to take the requirement in the iteration 2 itself. Iteration 3 is just on a very high level changes. Don't consider where no the huge changes. Okay, and also here the normally in RVP and all, even for the client give at iteration 1 iteration 2 is very difficult, because they need to understand the process. Okay, they need to understand the system. So based on that they will confirm, okay, as an employee what kind of permission they need. So whether they want only view permission for the biographical, or they can do the edit. The similarly for the personal information portlet, so normally we'll give the access for the this portlet. Okay, so if they have the access, then what kind of or which field they need to be editable. Okay, so everything will be controlled. Okay, definitely at beginning of the project they cannot give, so at least in iteration 2 they have to provide. Okay, see for example, so they have mentioned employee on other, they mentioned that hide. So employee and themselves they can add the data. Okay, as an employee they can do the edit in the this field. So this is how we are capturing the requirement related to RBP, and we already discussed whether this field is required. Okay, it is mean that this field we are going to use in the process or in the instance level. If you are not using the salutation is nothing but for Mr. Mrs, those are the values. If this field we are not going to use, then I can put it as a no. Then in accordingly in our succession data model in the manage business configuration, I need to disable this field which they are not going to use. Okay, so this is how we are capturing the business requirement. So once you've done the workbook, or when you are doing the iteration 1, this should be updated accordingly, it should be done the configuration in the system. Okay, so related to national ID, take example for all the country related national ID we have. Okay, so say success factor has already provided values, the still get the double confirmation from the client. Sometimes what happen, these are the workbook updated like 2-3 months back. So companies sometimes countries they keep on changing the policies. So for any of the country if they newly added any new format, okay, that should not be updated, it should be updated here. Accordingly we have to configure it. Similarly for the email, phone number, the social account address. Okay, so payment information it's absolute, the work permit, emergency contact. So all the portlets related we have here. Okay, the similarly we will be having the workbook for the foundation object. So let me open that also. So here we have the legal entity, country specific legal entity, business unit, division, department, cost center. Okay, so this is just like designing the screen. Okay, so not the creating the master data. Okay, so once your screen is ready, then only I can create the data inside this object. So similarly we have the location group. Okay, corporate address, geo zone, job classification, job subfunction. Okay, pay group, pay grade. Okay, so all this we will see in the instance, and I will do the modifications. Okay, so this is how normally we will capture the requirement in the workbooks. So let me open workflow process. So here we have the event reason. Okay, event derivation. So workflow dynamic groups, workflow dynamic rules, workflow requirement. So if you need to do any alert and notifications, and what would be the email content. Okay, email tags, all these things. Okay, so don't worry, so I am going to discuss each and every thing in the system, and you will understand in better way. And also please concentrate as much as possible which I am going to tell. Those are definitely required when you are configuring the system. Those are very important and very sensitive. Okay, so don't just go by very fast clicking videos. So just concentrate, understand, practice, then only go for next topic. So let's do the some configuration in the system. Now let's take this is as a requirement. So here we have the region of the birth. So here they mentioned that required equal to no. Okay, so and mandatory also no. If you are not using, definitely we should do this, make it as a no only. So what we will do, so last time we had a discussion how to do the changes in the succession data model. So going forward we will directly do the all the changes in